Fail forward. How to bounce back from failures. In order to bounce back from failure, you need to change the way you perceive failure. Research indicates that aticophobia, which is the fear of failure, is one of the top phobias in the world, and nearly 1 in 3 people actually have this fear. This phobia is actually ahead of arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders, and glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. That's actually insane to me. However, it is a matter of perspective. If you always look at failure as a means of a loss, then you will never ever be able to bounce back. But if you look at failure as a way to, how can I improve? What can I learn? What can I do better next time? Then each time you fail, you'll always elevate and you'll always be able to bounce back. Remember, it is how you perceive what failure is. Failure is not the end, but it is a stepping stone towards success. To fully understand this concept, let's look at 10 famous failures. Number 1, arguably the GOAT of the NBA, Michael Jordan. As we all know his famous story, he was cut from his high school basketball team and played on the B team. Number 2, Walt Disney. Walt Disney was fired from his newspaper job because they said he lacked imagination. Number 3, arguably the greatest director of all time, Steven Spielberg, was rejected from film school 3 times. Number 4, John Grisham. His first book, A Time to Kill, arguably one of the greatest thriller books out there, was rejected 28 times. Number 5, Albert Einstein. He was labeled mentally slow on his school record. Number 6, Henry Ford. His first 2 automobile companies failed. Number 7, Oprah Winfrey. She was fired early in her career as a television news anchor. Number 8, Sir James Dyson. This man had 5,126 failed prototypes before he created the Dyson vacuum. 5,126. Let that sink in for a second. Number 9, Elvis Presley. He was fired from the Grand Ole Opry and was told to go back to truck driving. And number 10, Harlan Sanders, the owner of KFC. He was rejected over 1,000 times before finding a franchise partner. You see, all of these 10 failures, all of them failed time and time again. But did they let their failure stop them? No, they bounced back after each failure. And now, look at them. They're all successors in their fields. They're all successors in their industries, and they're all legends. Number 1, the key to bouncing back from failures is to embrace it and not avoid it. Learn how to make setbacks into comebacks. Previously, I just mentioned 10 famous failures, and the common denominator between all these 10 people is that when they failed, they were willing to fail and fail again. They kept putting themselves in a position to not be successful in hopes of becoming successful, but they embraced failure. They loved it. They didn't fear it. Failure gets you one step closer to success. One of Michael Jordan's greatest quotes was, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Number 2, don't dwell on your mistake. You need to understand that your failure does not define who you are. If you had a bad test, if you failed a midterm, let's say, does that grade, does that number or that letter define who you are as a person? No! Don't let it define who you are. If you hurt someone's feelings, if you had a bad game, if you made a huge mistake, you need to realize that does not make you a bad person, but it makes you a human. If you can find me one perfect person in this world, I will personally loan out $1 million in the bank, and I will give it to you. Nobody is perfect in this world. You need to understand that. The more you dwell on your mistake, the more you let it identify who you are, the more you think about it, and the more you will mentally destroy yourself with all the crazy and negative thoughts about yourself. Instead of dwelling on your failures, move on from them. Which leads me to my next point. Point number 2, learn from it. Instead of dwelling on your mistakes, instead of dwelling on your failures, learn from it. Next time you fail, ask yourself these questions. What went wrong? What did I do? And how can I do better? Go through a needs analysis. Analyze the situation. How and why did you fail? And now when you understand the root cause of it, you understand what you did wrong, then you can fully learn from it and do better the next time. Not many people know this story, and don't worry, I won't be mentioning any names. I'm just gonna mention my story, my side of it. But essentially in the past, I hurt 2 of my closest friends, and it took me 2 years to fix our relationship, and honestly, to this day, it's still kind of shaky. It will never ever go back to the way it used to be, and I understand that because I did something I did something so bad. But when it happened, my mistake was I dwelled on that. I dwelled on my failures. I let it define who I was. I thought to myself each and every single day that I am such a bad person for doing the thing that I just did. But then I snapped out of it and I realized I failed. It doesn't define who I am. I am not a bad person. I'm just going to learn from this. Instead of hurting myself with negative thoughts and negative emotions and defining who I am because of that failure, I said to myself, how can I learn from this and what can I do better? I analyzed the situation, I analyzed my failure, and from then on, I promised that I'll never ever do that again to somebody else. 2 to 3 years later, after that incident, it's safe to say that we made amends, and also I have made some really good friends. And that is why in every friendship that I go to, I am so careful because I do not want to make that same mistake ever again. But that's how you learn from it. These failures are a pathway to your success. If you don't fail, you won't be able to learn. And I failed in my life time and time again. And that's why I continue to succeed. Number 4, have regrets, but don't regret it. If you have regrets, that means you understand your need to change. And because you understand your need to change, you can now identify where you need to change. Let's say you're in a basketball final and you lose in that final. Of course it's gonna hurt, of course it's gonna sting. When you get home or in the locker room or the next day, you're gonna dwell on it, you're gonna regret a lot of things. You're gonna think to yourself, man, I should have passed there instead of shoot. I should have dribbled here instead of pass. I should have cut instead of step back and take a 3 and miss. I should have played the defense more. I should have read this person more. You understand where you need to change because you understand that you needed to change. If you never lost, okay, perfect, you won. But if you keep winning every single time in your life, will you understand that you need to change? Will you understand that you need to improve? No. That is why you need to fail. That's why you need to embrace your failures. It's because failures allows you to improve and to change. The feeling of regret is okay, and it's okay to hurt, it's okay to mourn. As a matter of fact, when you do fail, when you do something wrong, or where you lose or some way, cry it all out, mourn. It's okay to hurt, it's part of life. It's going to hurt, but feeling that regret is okay because now you know where to change. If you fail a test, for example, now you could identify, maybe I'm studying wrong. I spent so many hours studying and I still didn't do as well. Maybe I need to change my studying habits. Maybe I need to change my sleep schedule. Maybe I just don't understand and I should go completely to a different course. Understand this. After you fail, it's okay to hurt. Have a period where you're crying. Have a period where you mourn and you isolate yourself and just let it all out. But do not stay in that position. After you fail, attack your failures, attack your problems right away. Do not distract yourself from your problems. Do not distract away from your failures. Attack them head on. That's the only way you'll be able to bounce back right away. Most people who fail let their failures define who they are, which is why they never bounce back. They never learn from it because they're always too busy dwelling on it. So in order to bounce back, attack your failures, attack your problems, and don't let it define who you are. Bounce back. I believe in you. You can do it. And just like that, don't forget to like and subscribe to The Journey TV. If you found this video motivating, don't forget to share it to others. We need more motivation in this world. And always remember this. Together, we'll make it to the top. Easy.